Hey there, fam. How's it going? And welcome to episode of At the Table. So today's episode is a little a little improvised, not gonna lie. I kind of said everything up really quickly, so I apologize if everything's not exactly the way you guys are normally used to having it. Got a special guest. It's my dog. He's sleeping here. You cannot see him, but he's hanging out with us today. But yeah, so I really want to get into this one because it is a really good one. I know we just came off of Easter and Resurrection Sunday, and it was phenomenal, right? And I know I talked about how Thomas, how he was kind of doubting, and then that God does, Jesus doesn't just he reigned, he relates. That was all great stuff. But today I was in my in my going, and I get to take my time to go to my fellowship with God and my devotional, and I realized, right, how time is kind of subjective. Stay with me, we're tracking. But for me, right, staying in the presence, with God, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's an hour or just 3 hours, there's no real time constraint, thankfully. I'm not going to say, thankfully for that one, because, when I take my time, like, okay, you know what, I'm going to spend my time with God. When God's through with me, then I'll go over the rest of my day. I understand not everyone can do that. I feel very blessed and, honored that I'm able to do that, don't have to worry about when it comes to work wise, because I can, take my time out with God. But it made me think about time, right? Not like, oh, how I'm going to be on earth, something like that, but just how, let's say, right, I'll use a simple example. You're going through something, you're like, man, we've been here forever. And it's like, oh, really? I feel like we've been here for 5 minutes. The time aspect of things is kind of it's interesting. And in that, when God, deposited into my heart, the title for today, and it might be a series, I'm going to see how I put these together. Cause I don't want to rush through the thoughts, but I have different ways of looking at it, but it's all going to be based around time. Yeah. So for me, it's cool because I'm going to call this one about time, right? We're going to call it, today's little, conversation about time. And when I think about time, for me, it's like a big commodity. It's people have their love languages, stuff like that. But for me, definitely, up there is quality time because it's something you can't get back, right? I can't go and if I, miss, let's say an outing with a family or, I miss something important, some friends, something like that. You can't get that time back, right? It's not like you're like, oh, I'm going to get 5 months back, So I want to respect people's time. I want to respect my time because it's something you can't get back, right? It's one of those commodities that you can't buy. You can't buy more stuff. You can buy more stuff. You can buy more food, cool stuff, gear, but you can't buy more time, right? That's always everyone's, thing is trying to get more time out of, their time here on earth. And it made me realize, right, how sometimes we don't really, for lack of a better word, appreciate the time that we have with our loved ones, with special ones, but most importantly, our time with God, right? We're really quick to go and okay, Father God, thanks so much. It's going to be a great day. And then Jesus Christ, amen, boom. Really quick to go and turn on that Netflix special, watch that new movie, go hop on the phone, with a significant other, head to the beach. And I'm not saying none of those things are bad. Those are all great things for sure. But God wants to spend time with you too, right? Like a parent wants to spend time with his kid. When you're little, you want to go and spend time with your friends. And as you get older, those friends become legitimate friends. They become family, right? So why do we rush our time with God, right? If someone tells you, oh yeah, this project will be done in a year, you're like, oh, it's pretty quick. Oh, it's not bad. It's a massive movie. They filmed it, within a year. Hey, you know what? I got 1 year left of school, right? Before I graduate. It's it sounds pretty quick, right? Or it could be like, oh man, I already have 1 year, but I have 5 years left. I have, 6 months left to this thing. There's so much time that has to happen, right? And it made me think about this part, and I'm gonna put it in basic numbers. A year, right? We'll use that as a little baseline. A year can seem like a lot. Oh man, you know what? This year just started. Oh man, this thing's a year away. But what if someone told you only have a year to live? That year seems a whole lot shorter now, doesn't it? Right? You start reevaluating certain things that, man, what? I should have done this. I should have done that. One of the pastors, that I really, to look up to massively, he always instilled in us something that And those I've kept it forever. One of the biggest places, and biggest treasures you can find is in a graveyard, right? In a gravesite. Because all these dreams of, man, if I had more time, right? It's like more of this like, oh man, I wish I had done this. So if I'd have known this earlier, I wish I'd done this when I was younger. I wish I had started this business plan earlier. I wish I've, I said I'm sorry earlier. Right? How many times do people go and, they have a really bad experience with someone, and that's the last thing they say is something negative, and that person either, passes away or they move away, and you can never say sorry. You can never say, how much they meant to you, right? That's why it's always important. Hey, hug your loved ones. Like a little side note, hug your loved ones. Tell them you love them. Tell them how special they are to you. And that's definitely something that as I've gotten older, I've realized that time can go in and out. So just take care of the people you love, right? But back to that, what I was saying is that a year can feel like forever, right? Oh man, I have a year left until this happens. I have a year left. They push this project for another year. It's so far away. But what if, like I said, use an example of like, what if someone tells you, oh, you only have a year to live. You only have 6 months to live. You only have 9 months to live, right? Maybe someone that's watching this right now, someone, maybe you yourself are watching this, and like, oh man, I have, the doctors gave me a bad prognosis. One, don't take that, right? Believe that God is the Alpha and the Omega. He can heal you. He can get you out of that bed. He can heal you of that incurable disease. He can do all those things, right? But when we truly understand, right, and sit in the fact that our life here is so short, and I talked about this, in a small group meeting that we had not that long ago, right? If I can find the video, I'll try to put the link down there. But this pastor talks about how he uses the metaphor of a rope, yeah, and how the very ends is a red, right? And he can tell you this is a portion of your life, right? This little thing right here. We focus so much on this little part, and the rest of the rope is for eternity, right? You focus so much on this little red part, and you don't really go and think about, all right, what I do here in this red part, right, in this portion of my life is going to affect me for eternity. Am I going to give my life to Christ? Am I going to go and just really make the most and maximize it? Or am I going to go a different route, right? Am I going to go to a different place? So for me, taking the time to really sit with God, taking the time to dissect, what God has given us is very important, right? And the Bible talks about it, clearly. There's a season for everything. There's a time to smile. There's a time to laugh. There's a time for, for weeping, a time for, reaping and sowing. There's a time for everything. But maybe you're watching this, right? And you're like, man, it's about time that I get a break. It's about time that I get that promotion. It's about time that, when's it my turn, right? Because you've been either passed over, you've been neglected, people have jumped the line, quote unquote, in your mind. And you're like, Lord, what's going on? Right? When's it my turn? It's about time that something good happens for me. And when I thought about that, it made me reflect a little bit, because what if it's not a punishment, it's preparation, right? What if God is using this time to prepare you to get you on the fast track to where he wants you to go, right? Because we're so worried about like I said multiple times, this is a quote that many people have heard, that comparison is the thief of joy. I said it one more time, that the comparison is a thief of joy. So if we focus all our time looking around, right? You're looking here, you're looking there, and we don't focus on, okay, where am I going here? Where does God want me to go? Keep our blinders up and just focus on what God wants us to do. You're going to fall off path, right? Because if I'm trying to go this way and I didn't turn that way, eventually, I might keep, a couple steps in the right direction, but I'm going to fall and go to that category, right? I might fall to that way and vice versa, go this way. But if I just stay here, I stay locked into God, all right, if I'm running, I'm right here. Right? Don't take your eyes off the most important person. That's Christ. That's the most important thing that we need to keep, as our true north, as our focus, as our just point of okay, you know what? God's got my back. He's going to keep me wherever I go. And we're going to get through this. So for me, it was interesting because as I thought about it, maybe, right, we allow ourselves to start thinking, oh, you know what? I'm lonely, right? Sorry, let me say that one more time. We put ourselves in a position where, you know what? I'm alone. I'm alone in this journey. I'm alone in this thought process. I'm alone in where I'm going with this. And there's a big difference in being alone and feeling lonely, right? You can feel alone. You can feel like no one cares. You can feel like, no one's going to help you out. No one's giving you a helping hand, but you're never truly alone. Right? God's always with you, right? In the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys, He's always going to be with you. So let's not get confused and start thinking, oh, you know what? I'm feeling lonely. That must mean I'm alone, right? God says He's going to walk through you through every single thing that you're going through, right? And I have these two verses, and I have a couple ways of, the different versions of it, because every verse that I was going through was interesting. And we'll go and start off with, First Peter, actually. Let me get my notes up on this one. Okay. So we have right here, 1 Peter 5, verse 6. Humble yourself. It's a commandment. Therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. That's the NIV version. I'll read that one more time. 1 Peter 5, verse 6. Humble yourself, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that He may lift you up in due time. If we go over to the Amplified version, it says, therefore, humbling yourself under the mighty hand of God, set aside righteous pride, so that He may exalt you to a place of honor in His service at the appropriate time. If we break that down, right? Setting aside selfish pride. What that means is, Lord, you know what? Not in my time, in your time, in due time, right? Because if we start thinking, try to control it in our hands, we then get prideful, thinking that we know more than God. You know what? No, Lord, I know more about my life than you do. And then it says, so He may exalt you to a place of honor in His service, right? At the appropriate time. That's the Amplified version. If we go over now to the NLT, the New Living Translation, it says, so humble yourself under the mighty power of God, and at the right time, that's a key word right there, at the right time, He will lift you up in honor. Maybe God is waiting for you because it's not the right time. And that might be kind of hard to, really like soak it in. But maybe, just maybe, you're not right in the timing, right? Maybe your timing is not perfect. But God says that at the right time, He will lift you up in honor, right? You're thinking, you know what? Hey, people have left me. People try to drag my name through the floor. People try to have gone, do some just like really like bad things and to like damage my name. God will lift you up in honor, right? He's not going to leave you abandoned. He's not going to leave you like, oh, okay, you're out. Cool. You got to fix your own name up. You got to fix yourself up. No. God's going to bring you back up in honor at the right time, right? We as humans, right? I'll put myself in that category too. We like to be like, oh no, we got this, right? And sometimes, okay, God tells you, hey, go forth and do what you got to do. But then we start saying, oh, Lord, it's not in my timetable. I should have been married by now. I should have had this job by now. I should be at this financial status by now. I should, my kids should be like this by now. Like, I should have learned this by now. But you're not. And some of it's on us, right? Maybe, we're being a little hard-headed, and we haven't really been doing what we're supposed to do. And that's why, we haven't been advancing. But if you're doing everything God tells you to do, and you just go and just really buckle down, right? And like strap yourself in. Okay, you know what, Lord, this might not feel like it's the right time for me. But Lord, whether it's two things, whether you've called me now and I'm being hesitant or I'm being impatient, either way, Lord, guide me so I can go to the right step, right? I can go to the right path. For me, we have one more here in the New King James Version. Therefore, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you in due time. If you notice, it says in due time, at the right time, at the appropriate time, in due time again. It's interesting because it's always putting it in God's hands, right? When we do that, when we put it in God's hands, when we allow Him to do what He does best, and that's be God, things happen the right way. Things happen at the exact time that they need to be happening. So maybe you're watching this and you're thinking, hey, you know what? I'm not going where I need to go. I feel like I'm just being, passed over. I feel like nothing's happening for me. God is saying in due time, at the right time, He will exalt you and He will honor you. Yeah. You just have to stay focused. You have to stay doubting. You have to stay holding on to His word. That's really what for me was a big thing, because as I was reading it, in due time, at the right time, at the appropriate time, in the right season, it's like, okay, you know what? There's good times and there's bad times. That's what the Bible's saying. And we'll go over actually right now to Actually, I have one more version right here. Here you go. We got, no, we'll go actually to this one. You know what? We'll go to what I originally started. We'll go to First Peter. Sorry, we'll go to Galatians really quick. It will be Galatians 6. You might know this verse. Galatians 6:9. We'll start off with a New Living Translation. It says, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. There's a condition. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. You're doing the right thing. So let's not get tired, doing the right thing, because if you do it once, you do it twice, you do it 3 times, okay, cool. Like, all right, God, I did it again. I did it again. And I did it again. I feel like I'm walking, the wall, the walls of Jericho. Don't get tired of doing that, because it's a good thing. If you're doing the wrong thing, obviously, like, fix yourself and get back on track. But let's not get tired of doing the good thing, right? Doing the good thing takes time. Doing the good things takes effort. It takes patience. It takes determination. It takes diligence. It takes discipline. So we have to understand that it's not easy. That's why it's saying, so let's not get tired of doing, what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest if, and this is the NLT version, if we don't give up. So there's conditions to it. Do the right thing. Don't give up. It sounds easy until you're 5 years into a project and you're like, Lord, I'm waiting for this, right? What? Look at how many people in the Bible had to wait, right? Abraham waited all these years to have Isaac, right? David had to wait time before Saul was taken out and he became king. There's certain things that if we allow ourselves to wait, God can give us what he wants to give us, right? I have another version here, the New King James Version. And let us not grow weary while doing good. For in due season we will reap if we do not lose heart. We have another one right here. Let us not grow weary or become discouraged in doing good. You gotta be thinking, oh man, Rob, I'm doing everything. I feel like it's just not working out. Don't be discouraged, right? For at the proper time, we will reap if we do not give up, if we not do give in. You see how there's the Amplified version, there's the NIV version, there's so many versions. It's all saying pretty much the same thing. That at the proper time, at the right time, we will harvest if we don't give up. Because it's easy to give up after 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. But the Bible says, if you fall down 7, get up 8, right? I'm giving the short radio version of it. But if we don't grow weary and we don't give up, right? That's something that lands on us. God's gonna do his part, right? But we can't grow weary. We can't give up because of being impatient, because, we think that we know better than God, because we're here thinking, oh, what, Lord, you know what? I'm done. Like, you had your chance. Now it's my turn. I'm going to take it into my own hands. Well, that's real dangerous. That's real dangerous to do that, because if we allow ourselves to get prideful, like the Bible's saying over there, put away your prideful side, your self-righteous side, because we then put ourselves in the condition of putting ourselves before God, and God can't bless that, right? For me, when I looked at it that way, God really he broke it down to a very simple thing. What if, right? What if what you're praying for is great and all, but I want more. I want to give you better. I want to give you something, a bigger thing. And because you're asking for this now ahead of time, I can't give you the whole totality of what I want to give you, right? If you're, going and investing in something and, the things are getting kind of rough, and oh, should I pull out the money? Hey, look, just trust the process. You're going to get your investment back. Oh, do what you have to do. I can guarantee you this money's going to get better. I'm using finances. We'll do food, right? You're making some food, and let's say you're making a cake, and you go and the recipe tells you 20 minutes and you pull it out at 15 minutes. It might taste okay, but if you wait the whole 20 minutes, it'll taste even better. A quick analogy that, I heard back in the day, back in school, was, if you give a kid a nickel today, like, here's a nickel, but if you wait till tomorrow, I'll give you 15 cents, right? I'll give you this, or I'll give you a nickel now, I'll give you a quarter tomorrow. A lot of times it shows how much kids can't think to the future and they want instant gratification. They're like, oh, I'll take the nickel now. If you just waited one day, you'd have gotten the quarter. You'd gotten so much more. You'd have been more than double of the fact of it, right? So when we look at it, in that aspect. And I'm using it like a very like simple, way of doing it. But if we allow ourselves to put our, if we allow ourselves to get into that mentality of, all right, Lord, I want this, but maybe you want to give me more. Let me sit in this. And I'm not saying it's easy, right? I mean, I'm not going to be out here saying it's the easiest thing in the world. I'm not saying like it's, like, oh yeah, of course, I'm just going to sit here and wait and build up, piling up, and things are getting rough, and the economy is getting crazy, and things are getting, bad at the house. No, I'm not saying any of that is, something you're like, oh, just take it lightly. I get all that. But our strength, our peace, our reliability does not sit on what we can do. It's what God can do, right? So when we put ourselves in the position of, Lord, you got my back. You know what's best. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to be patient because in due time, right? It is all about time. It's not about my timing, but God's timing. So I just want to leave you that with, I want to leave that with you. There we go, guys. It's a little late, my bad. Because it is real easy nowadays, right, to have the instant gratification, right, have that microwave kind of mentality of like, okay, I'm going to put in this, I'm going to get that, and that's it. And if we can just be, right, like a child and be like, all right, God, you got what's best, my best interest at hand. You got my back. You know what you're going to do. I'm going to trust you. Yeah, like a seed. You don't plant a seed and tomorrow you get a tree, right? Sometimes God can maximize something like that where, you invest in something the very next day, God multiplies it 100 times fold, for sure. But most of the time, you sow it, you plant it, you feed, you take care of it, and slowly, in time, you're able to reap what God, what the fruit is, what, the blessing is. Again, sometimes God can go and like, you plant a seed, or you plant an offering of like, oh Lord, you know what? I'm going to tithe this. I'm going to put this offering in this. I'm going to believe you for the prosperity that's going to happen. And boom, the next week, you get a bonus or something. Sometimes like, Lord, I'm sowing this now into my children. So when they get older, this won't depart from them. So when things get rough, when life starts, really hitting them, they can understand that I sowed in them at a young age who God is and who God is to our family, that now that they're older, they can rely on that, right? I don't know why I said that one, but I feel if someone's watching this, maybe you have a kid, right? That is going through something. Maybe you yourself, I'll even go to that extent. Maybe you yourself are going through something and you're like, Lord, what's happened? You've abandoned me. You left me. Go back, right? Years ago, when you had that childlike faith, right? That faith that we all should have, where we didn't care how it happened. We just knew that God was going to do it. Go back to that childlike faith of, Lord, you got me, you're going to sustain me, and it's going to happen, right? So if you have a kid, maybe you yourself are feeling like, oh, man, you know what? I'm out here. It's been a minute. How God's even going to forgive me? Remember, that seed has been sown, right? And what you reap, you will sow. You're going to come back months from now, maybe even a day from now. If you do this, if someone that's watching this is you watching it, down below, reach out. Talk to Rodz right down there and tell me, because I feel like someone's been waiting for an answer. Someone's been waiting for a reply on something. And God's like, in due time, I got you. I haven't forgotten about you. I'm watching over you. I'm taking care of you. Just keep on holding on to me. Maybe it's something to refresh you. There's something to give you a new like scent of like, a second wind. God sees you. That thing you've been praying for, that person you've been praying for, that whatever prayer request you have, God hears you. He cares about you. And he's going to honor it. Just trust him. Yeah. In due time. Yeah. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're saying these talks. Also follow me on Spotify. Some pretty cool stuff happening in there too. A little behind the scenes every now and then. And yeah, guys, this is just something I wanted to share with you guys. I know this is more of a little bit of a longer format than the usual at the tables, but I definitely think it's gonna be more of a little bit of a series because there's a lot more I have here that I didn't want to go and just overload you guys. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited for what's coming. I'm excited that the things that you guys have been praying for are gonna start coming to pass. I'm excited to hear about it. And yeah, guys, keep getting after it. Yeah, I love you guys. Stay safe, and as always, make it the best day ever. See you on the next one.